So I'm here with a specific problem. I want to talk about this game and get you to play it, but anything I could share is possibly a spoiler, and I want you, the audience, to experience it all with virgin eyes and ears. So then, how am I going to sell this game to you? Ever since I've played Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, I wanted to get more attention out there. This was also an excuse to create more coverage of the game and hopefully encourage more discussion. Well, I can talk about things around the game, its pedigree, and similar titles that if you'd liked, you'd probably lend yourself to liking this game in turn. It's a cult classic for sure, but outside the DS, fans who played all the puzzle games, most people just wouldn't know enough about. And even if they did get blessed with a remaster of this game, they couldn't really appreciate how rare of an opportunity this is. This isn't just a review, and I didn't want that. I only just had that feeling left that instead of just debating or arguing about what this title is, I just want to get out there and give it the recognition it needs. This game is a solid, complete package, and its remaster only further highlight how great this is. Now I'm going to do something pretty dumb here and argue in favor of something without emphasizing its own unique strengths. Which, that's the whole point of trying to convince someone about something. But, the plot and the entire presentation just speaks for itself. And I know just speaking on that is going to make it harder than it seems. But if you just want the premise, it just goes like this. It's a proper mystery that takes place all in one night, starring your player character being the victim of an unceremonious murder. This bad boy was the brainchild of the original creator of the Ace Attorney franchise, a little known man by the name of Shu Takumi, and he's responsible for some of my favorite stories in video games. With much of the talent, be it the same composer and the director himself responsible from the Ace Attorney games. The whole premise of this game was just Ace Attorney flipped on its head in concept, a direct parallel, if you will. Both games are inextricably linked in design, as the game was designed as a deliberate contrast to that. And it is, essentially, a long continual story. Like a movie, more akin to a movie, unlike the serialized episodic design of Ace Attorney, which is more akin to television. If you're the fan of one, and want the entire premise of it and its design philosophy just flipped on its head or just slightly altered, please do give this a try. It's still coming from the same DNA, but it's like dating their cousin. Personally speaking, it felt starkly familiar, but it had an identity wholly of its own. Now let me say that the DS was a treasure trove for unique puzzle games, and if you'd like some of these titles, you probably like some of these too. The DS was a hub for visual novels and detective-like stories with puzzle-solving gameplay. It's almost as if the Japanese had a fascination for detective, mystery-type stories. Beyond its cousin, the Ace Attorney series, or the puzzle classic of Professor Layton, we also have cult classics like Hotel Dusk and its sequel. The original Zero Escape game, which is also known as 999, which is considered the peak of VNs on the DS. We gotta put a gold filter on this title, that's how special it is. Trace Memory also is a DS cult classic that even received a remake recently on the Switch. So you owe it to yourself to give these games a play. Well, you're dead, but that's the first thing you learn, and it only gets more complex further on from there. But it's like the step-cousin/step-sister of the Ace Attorney series, and it's just not like any other VN with, just adventure/interactive elements. It's a unique puzzle game with its own unique identity and style of gameplay. Ghost Trick had the unfortunate luck of being released at the tail end of the DS's lifespan around 2010, and even though the 3DS was around the corner, and it wasn't just ready to blow up yet, it wasn't enough for Ghost Trick. It didn't make exactly buku bucks. But it did have enough time to become an established title. Established as a cult classic, of course, which is nice, but it just means it stays as a unique one-off experiment rather than like an influential mainstay within the sphere. But at least it's accessible and easily available, and more often than not, that's more than enough that most people could ask for, right? A lot of old titles from the past, unique ones, aren't easily available, or you just can't get them in such a nice format, might I add.